Okay, so today my idea was to make a pen, a polymer clay pen, but using some rhinestones. People ask me if you can use glitter or rhinestones on a pen. I said, I guess you can. I'm not sure, you know. But rhinestones that are made out of glass, for sure, is not going to be a problem. These plastic, like acrylic rhinestones like we get, or you can find like at Joann's or Michael's or your craft store, it's called the Big Bling, and it's huge pack. You can find smaller ones, but it's these kind of rhinestones. Our acrylic, obviously they're made of plastic, so I'm gonna try it out. So I'll let you guys know. I mean, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So I'm gonna use the Papermate Eagle pen, and I already rolled out some clay. Now this clay's kind of old, and I thought it was black, but it looks like a dark gray, so that's okay. I just want to try it out, so I don't want to waste anything. So here's the pen, and I'm just gonna take the lid off. You're never really gonna use this again, unless you make it so that your clay ends here, but I don't care about that. It looks ugly that way. So I'm going to pull out the pen part, and we're not going to bake that, okay? The actual, what's it called? Ink cartridge. And so for this one, I already rolled this out on my pasta maker at the smallest or thinnest setting. So on mine, the 1 is the thinnest setting. I know some people's, the 1 is the biggest setting, so. And then I'm just going to trim around it and just kind of pick this up so you can kind of see that as I roll the pen, this is where it ends right here. Turn it towards me a little bit, and I'm just going to use my cutter and push right down right here. And so what I did was, it's stuck here, which is fine, which is actually what I need. I'm going to use this for another one. You see, now you still have enough plenty here for another one, and then whatever was left over would be plenty to make even another one. So that's what I mentioned to somebody the other day. One of the Sculpey blocks, this is Sculpey clay. It could be female, it doesn't matter, just any polymer clay. One block is enough to make like 4 or 5 pens, to cover 4 or 5 pens. And so now I just rolled it, and of course here's the end part, and everything's good, but I'm gonna bring it up towards the top. And again, you can round it, you can square it off, you can do whatever you like. If you're going to put a little gem right on top, then it doesn't even matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to cover it up anyhow. So let me just kind of smooth that out. If you want it squared off, you can just kind of push it against your surface, your work surface. Okay? And on this side, it's going to look a little bit bigger than what I need, so I'm going to cut that extra off. And then I'm going to kind of work it so it looks nice, okay? You don't want too much clay just hanging over the edge, and then trim it off again. Anything that's stuck in there, you're gonna want to take it out and really finish off that edge. This clay is very, very soft, which is amazing because it was actually really old. I'm just trying to get that bit that stayed in there, take it out. If it goes in, that's fine. It actually stayed on there. You just don't want it to bake in the way, and then you can't put the ink back in. Okay, so I'm just tapping that down. This guy is super, super soft. Okay, so what I did was I took the bag and just took out the gems that I picked that I want. I'm using pinks and the Aurora Borealis looking ones, so let me clean some of this off and I'll bring those in. Like I said, I chose a variety of pinks and then like AB crystals. Of course, not really crystals, they're whatever these things are from that set there. Let me bring these back over. And I really wanted to use the smaller, and like the very small and the medium small ones. The big ones are kind of too big in a way, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is start trying to just kind of push them into the clay. If I don't like the way that looks, because they're kind of out there, like that one I think is too big. So just try it out. It's not a big deal. If you don't like it, it only made a very small mark, and you can just kind of roll it away. And now we have the smaller ones, and I think those are going to work the best. So you can kind of push it in. Now, this is another option. You can just push them in and bake it and see what happens, because like I said, I'm not sure. I'm going to leave that one just the way it is, because that way we'll know. We'll see if that makes any difference. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is use the Sculpey Bake and Bond. Okay, so let me go Bake and Bond, and it helps clay adhere to items that aren't clay, and it helps clay adhere to clay. Okay, so for me, I'm going to look right here, and I'm just going to play a little drop. You can put it on here, or you can put it on the back of your stone, but I think it's just easier to squeeze it out here. Just a little bit. You don't really want it to spread out like I did there, but that's okay. Just a little bit, and then I'm going to take, let's say, this AB stone and push it in where that bacon bond is, okay? And then you want to clean up the edges. I'm just going to use my nails, but if you want to use something else, you can do that. But I'm just going to... Okay? So what I'm going to do is apply rhinestones all everywhere using the bacon bond, and then we'll see. I mean, I'll see if that makes a difference between this one and this guy, okay? And I'll come back so when I applied all of the little stones. I only put like 4 or 5, or like 5, because I don't want to go too low because your hand's going to be holding the pen there. So those are the ones I've applied. And then I'm going to apply one right on the top. I'm going to let that rest there. And put a little bit of the bacon bond. This stuff goes a long way, like you don't need very much. And again, another small stone. And I'm going to go with the little crystal-y Aurora Borealis one. And just push that in there. Okay, I'm going to clean up around the edge, but I just want to make sure it's really centered. So the top of the pen's going to have a little stone. And then if you really were touching it a lot because, you know, so you're pushing the stones in, you can just kind of go around and hold it gently with one hand and then just smooth the fingerprints out, okay? And we can go ahead and just lay this down and bake it for 5 minutes, and I will let you know if they melt or, you know, how it comes out, okay? So I just finished baking them, and I also made a couple other things. I don't like turning on the oven just to do 1 or 2 things, so these are just some little shapes I'll use later that I molded. And then some other pens that I made, and this one just has some little swirlies on a green background with little flowers that are kind of marbleized. This one, ooh, this is the first time I've done something like this. I made the heart on top and I added Sculpey around it. This is kind of fun. Just put little hearts here and there, and at the bottom I put a little roll. I'll have pictures of these at the end. This one I did like a vine, and I put the little hearts because like it's growing on the vine. I thought that was cute. See that? Okay. And this one is the one we just and you know what? They didn't melt, I'll tell you that much. And I cooked them for 6 minutes actually, just to give it a little longer time. They did not melt, but they lost some of their shine. I don't know if you can see it, like the Aurora Borealis one isn't as shiny as it was. I mean, it's still cute, but they're not very good. So what? So they did not melt, like I said, but you know, a little bit of the shine kind of went away. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my gloss glaze, and I'm just going to put a little bit on them and see if that makes a difference. And of course you have to let it kind of dry on its own, so I will take some pictures of it and then you can be the judge if you think that's good or not. The other option would be is just to make the indentation and then glue the rhinestones on afterwards. The only thing is they might fall off at that point, right? Because they're not really baked into the pen. So, you know, I just want to try it out because the people have been asking, so there it is. But I put a little shine back on it with the glaze. I'm going to let this air dry, and I'll have some pictures of everything for you. And once it's ready to go, it's all dry, you just come back and put your the inner part back in. And that's it. Fit perfect and no problems, and I will have some pictures for you. And I hope you kind of see how I bake them. I bake them on a tray. This is just any old cookie sheet on a piece of paper because you don't want it actually touching the sheet. And then I bake them on top of this fiber fill. It's just a piece of that quilting batting to keep it up off the paper. But you can also just fold the paper a few times and let it lay in one of the little cracks of the paper as you fold it in one of the valleys, and it can bake just like that too. So I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.